Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? This is going to be another funny or effed up story about my life. This is actually a story that goes back to when I was 18 years old and when I met my wife, Tracy. Um, Way back in the day when we were just kids. Hi, Gunner. Yeah, a cat here and another cat over there. At least there's no cat fight. But anyway, yeah, so it's a little bit of a funny story, I guess. So what happened back then? I used to hang out on the streets a lot, like downtown Toronto on Queen Street area. All the punks did. Back then I had a big mohawk, and I looked a lot different. Aside from being considerably younger, um, I did. I was just looked different. I still look kind of the same from a certain perspective, but yeah, I had like a big mohawk and didn't have all the beard. I didn't have any tattoos at the time yet, but I was probably about 50, 60 pounds ago too. I didn't have the gut, but anyway, that's something I'm hoping to deal with sooner than later. I'm trying to eat a little bit better, which is ironic because I got a pizza in the oven, but it's normally Tuesdays. Tuesday is my pizza night. I'll have pizza and then the rest half of it and the other half in for lunch next day. But anyway, today's Wednesday, and I was sick yesterday, so pizza day got postponed, which is good because now I get to eat it tonight, and I love pizza. But yeah, I should probably, maybe have pizza night once a month instead of once a week, and cut down on the ice caps, and I'd say cut down on the beer, but I've actually cut down on the beer a lot. I only drink either one day, Friday or Saturday, instead of like, through the week I'll have a few beers because I just don't want to get up tired and hungover, or I just don't want to drink that much during the week. So anyway, going back to the story at hand. So an interesting little side note about Tracy and I, we had a lot of mutual friends back then. A few of them I'm still in contact with. Tracy, I don't think so much, but except for the friend she had already before we had mutual friends. But the thing is, we didn't know each other. I knew a lot of the same people she knew. She knew a lot of the same people that I knew, which, okay, it's the same thing. But there was never really overlap with Tracy at the time because reasons, I don't know. And the funny thing is, too, saying I'm a lot again. My current job, since I've been out of the restaurant industry, which today marks 1 year that I've been at my current job. So, it's kind of cool. But anyway, so the guy who got me in, or well, he got me the interview anyway, or helped me get the interview. I've been friends with him from back then, and she was friends with him too, but never, we didn't meet at the same time. And she actually knew him before I did, and I've known him since I was 18, I guess. And so anyway, just a little bit of an interesting story. So there was this club called Catch 22. It was like a goth industrial kind of club. A lot of punks, a lot of the goth scene went there. Toronto's goth scene back in the early 90s was huge. There's goths everywhere, goths and mods, and a lot of like the punk scene and everything was a lot bigger. And you had there was goth bars everywhere and booze cans. You leave the goth bar, you go any booze cans, which is I don't know if that term's still used, but it's just basically means an after hours club, serving usually in somebody's basement or some little room that's been rented, and sell alcohol legally after last call. But anyway, again, I'm sort of straying, but it was kind of a really fun, exciting time in my life because I was young and I was just new to that sort of environment, as all of us usually are at that age. But anyway, so we were at this bar club called Catch 22, and I was there with a friend. And back then, I didn't look like the goblin you see here on your phone or computer, whatever you're looking at this on, that you see now. I was a good looking kid. It wasn't hard for me to get girls. So I saw this hot kind of gothy looking chick sitting with her friend, who I'm also friends with. Her name's Katie. I'm still very good friends with her to this day as well. And her and Tracy are like best friends. They still hang out all the time and talk. So it's pretty good. That's cool that we all sort of hung out, still maintain that friendship. But anyway, they're sitting together, and I'm with my friend, this guy Trevor, and he I was just with him and I pointed. I go, go tell that girl, like when you're in school, right? Tell that girl I like her. It was one of those things. Normally, I wouldn't care. I would just smile and use my charm and my good looks. Yeah. But normally I would just talk. But I don't know why. I just went, go tell her I like her. And he's like, okay. And he points at me and she just kind of looks. She's like, okay. And we were only 18 at the time too. And she graduated school. I was still in high school. So, like I still had that high school kid mentality, I suppose. So anyway, eventually he leaves, and I'm just walking back and forth and she just sees this. I didn't have my mohawk up at the time. I just had it flopped over to one side and I might have even had a baseball cap on if I'm not mistaken, but probably took it off to dance and stuff. But I kept walking by, back and forth, and I'm just not saying anything. I'm just, for whatever reason, I wasn't even really looking, or I'd look over a little bit. So finally, it was her. She kicks that. She's probably saying to Tracy or to Katie, "Is he gonna talk? Like he's just walking back and forth. Like, this guy a loser, So, anyways, eventually she just kicks a chair out in front of me. She goes, "Are you gonna sit down?" Like, she literally says, "Are you gonna sit down?" So I was like, okay, and then I don't know, we just started chatting and for a bit, and I wrote my phone numbers long before cell phones, obviously, and so I wrote my number down, and so we hung out, and then Katie ended up driving us home, and me and Trace were in the back seat doing what teenagers do, clothes on stuff. But I remember I had a giant hickey on my neck about this big, and my mom was like, "You shouldn't do that. You can get blood clots, blah blah blah." It's like, shut up, mom. Love you, but no, come on, we're kids. And but anyway, yeah. So she was a big hickey on my neck, and my mom was teasing. But I don't think my dad did, because me and my dad weren't on great terms at that time. But he's like my best friend now. But back then it was, I was teenager angst and whatever. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much how I met her that night. I'm sure there's other details that I don't remember. But anyway, called up next day, and then I don't know. I felt like we were getting a little bit too close, because I'd show up every week, we'd fool around, dance, have some drinks or whatever. I'd been to her house a couple times, but then I just sort of disappeared for a few weeks, and then she called me actually just after my 19th birthday, and I ended up showing up. I remember I brought, and she wasn't there. I didn't tell her I was going to be there. This is a different club. It's called the Night Gallery, another goth bar in Toronto, and I brought flowers and stuff, and she didn't even show up. And I was just like, I didn't even tell her I was coming, but she went there every week too. And so I think I just left them on the table. I was like, here's some flowers for whoever wants them. But I think it was maybe the week later or something. I just showed up and said, oh, hey, whatever. And then, and then she had, it was at another bar. She had a boyfriend at the time. This other guy he's a nice guy. I've got to know him over the years. He's not, to my knowledge, he has no hard feelings. I think he's been married. He has a kid now and stuff, but anyway, that's a whole other person, and it's not really my place to talk about someone without them to sort of say that's right or wrong and whatever. So I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, yeah, so we ended up getting together, our boyfriend, girlfriend thing, and I ended up actually living at our parents' house for a little while, for about a year, until I moved out and moved back downtown Toronto. Our parents lived out in the country. But yeah, that's how Tracy and I met, and yeah, we've been together ever since. Ups and downs and all that stuff that most couples have. But yeah, we've been together now, and we weren't married obviously for the longest time, and then we did get married, obviously, and but yeah, we've been together since we were, I guess, 1992, yeah. So yeah, 33 years that we've been together, and we're still together. And we don't really buy each other a lot of things like birthday presents, Christmas presents, the odd thing here and there. It's just, if we want something, we just buy it, right? We don't really, like this year for her birthday, I made her a cake and made her dinner and that sort of thing. And she kind of did the same. She did the same thing for me too. Got me a nice cake, and I sat here and did my usual birthday ritual, which is get drunk and watch The Wizard of Oz. But I do have a few things over the years. There's gonna be this little alien guy that I've had. She got this on our 4th anniversary, I keep this. She wanted me to give it away, not because she didn't want me to have it, but just we were getting rid of a lot of junk. She goes, "You really want to keep that?" But there is a sentimental reason, and it was that anniversary. I was drunk and I kind of forgot it was her anniversary, and she was like so mad at me. And I got home, and this was sitting on the floor with a card and stuff, and I was just like, "Oh man," I felt so shitty because I just totally. I remember I was sitting at the bar. It was with a person I don't even like, but anyway, I was sitting there, and he asked how long we'd get how long we've been together, and it was like, 4 years. She goes, when'd you get to that? I'm like, it was sitting there, and then it was like, oh my god, it's my anniversary. I was like, oh shit. And then I think I just finished my drink, went home, and I think we got into a bit of an argument earlier too, and she didn't mention it was our anniversary, probably because she shouldn't have to. And cat's moving things around here. But anyway, yeah, so she got me this because she knows I really like aliens and things like that. And then so I kept it for that reason, just to remind myself never to be that guy. But another thing I got that she got me this, I don't remember, this was for Valentine's Day or another birthday, but she knows I love cats, so she got me this cat a while ago, and I've kept it ever since. And this guy, they sit together up on the top of my dresser, kind of like this, propped up behind the mirror. And then another thing I got, something I've had this longer than them. I think she got me this for our 1 year anniversary. And it's this other cat, and if you squeeze it, it used to meow, and I gave it a test meow in the bedroom, and it meowed like really quiet. It'd go meow, 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 and it did a really quiet, slow one, and then it didn't meow after that. So I don't know if it's gonna work. And hold on. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you're able to hear that. But I think that's its last meow. Nope, that might be the last meow. But yeah, I've had this for forever, and it's actually looking pretty good because I'm not a kid, so it wasn't played with, and it sits up on top of my other dresser, my wardrobe. So yeah, this guy sits up there. So anyway, that's how I met Tracy, and these are some of the goodies she got me over the years. But if you watch this all the way, thank you so much. Now you know a little bit more about me and Tracy. Even you're not getting away this time. This one meows. Yeah, this one doesn't meow properly either. Okay. Two reasons. Number one, she doesn't like getting picked up. Number two, she doesn't like. Oh, my nose is itchy. Her and Gunner don't get along, and Gunner's literally sitting right underneath the camera here. So, yeah, there's that. But anyway, yeah, you know a little bit more about me, and if you want to subscribe if you haven't already, help me get up to 1,000 subs, like and comment. And if you got any stories of your own that you want to talk about, just drop them in the comments. I will get back to you. I do get back to everybody because I don't get a lot, and I do like the banter. And also, if you have any other questions about me, I'm happy to answer. Oh, there's gonna be a cat fight. No, worse than kids. But yeah, yeah. If there's any other things you want to know about, you ask them the question, and if there's something I can actually answer, I'll be happy to answer. Maybe even do a video about it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and until the next one. Hold on, off my clickbait. Maybe I can sit this guy right here, and okay, maybe that'll work. I don't know. Maybe I look too happy in that. But anyway, thanks for watching. And until next one. Bye.